Hey everyone, it's Tyler the Rustic Nerd Dad here, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about how I took pretty much a yellow suit like this and turned it into the X Force gray and black suit like the one behind me. At the end of the video I will have a close-up video of the suit, looking at some of the fine details, um, as well as some other clips that I had recorded while wearing the suit. But let's just get right into it because I'm sure a lot of you are wondering how I would go from that to that. And honestly, it came down to a couple of supplies. But this was basically a happy accident for me, because I was trying to do a totally different color variation of this suit. So here in this picture, this is what I was originally going for, and it just was not happening. I was running into all kinds of issues because essentially yellow is a pain in the butt paint to work with, which I've ran into just trying to color match some things on this suit before. But yeah, I was trying to do the brown and tan slash brown and yellow version of the suit. And it wasn't even just the yellow, the brown that I was using, the Angel's leather paint. For whatever reason, even though it worked very, very well for these boots, which were originally blue, and they've turned out fantastic, being now black and brown. That suit, when I try to do the same conversion, was not coming out great at all. So I had to quickly try to shift gears, or decide whether I was just going to completely abandon the project, you know, sell off certain pieces of the suit that were still salvageable and toss the rest out. But then when I was just about to make my final decision on what I was going to do, I saw this picture online. It's a Photoshop of the Hot Toys figure, and I was like, you know what? Let's go all in on this and see what we can do. So, and that's where this iteration of the suit was basically born. So a big thing is, with this suit, was getting a right paint that would work on both the pleather as well as the fabric of the suit, because the fabric itself was very difficult to work with as well. I tried dyeing it. Dyes did not really want to take. Actually, one thing that was kind of funny, um, and if I happen to have a picture, I'll post it here as well, is that when I initially tried to dye it brown, it actually gave a really good weathering of the yellow, uh, similar to what's seen on screen for when Wolverine's suit is very dirty by the end of the film. So if you want to go that route, you could try dyeing the fabric brown and it'll just dirty it up real nice. But anyways, the what I ended up doing is, um and for those of you and I did my experiment on this suit and made the darker part, the darker blues a lighter blue. I used the tulip color shot matte blue. I ended up getting the tulip color shot black and gray for this suit, and it worked out like perfectly, because I was able to use the exact same black and gray across the entire suit. Um, and in some areas, I sprayed the gray, but before I laid the gray down, I sprayed the entire suit black. Did a very base coat of black, and looking back at it, I might have been able to get away with the brown and tan or brown and yellow suit if I had done this in the first place. But you live, you learn. So I might experiment with that and try it again, on some color tests before I go and do a full suit. But it was doing the whole suit as a base black was very helpful. So I used like 4 or 5 cans of this, and then I started doing the groundwork with the gray. And it was nice because, letting some of the gray go over in some areas, which you'd be able to see in some of the close-up pictures, it kind of gave it more of a natural weather to it. Um, but then I hand painted with the gray in here, which was nice because again gave it levels um, weathering essentially. And I was able to use these on the mask as well as the shoulder pad. So literally everything matched. I didn't have to worry about going to the paint store or Walmart or whatever, trying to color match these paints to the colors I was already using on the rest of the suit. I was able to just use these, and they've all held up very, very nicely, and it was great. So that's for paint. That's going, base color paint across the entirety of the suit. Um, for the gauntlets and shoulder pads, um, I end up using a metallic acrylic paint marker for both the gunmetal, which I could have sprayed, but um, I didn't happen to have any on hand, so I kind of went with what I had. Plus, with it being weathered and battle damaged heavily, um, it kind of worked, I think, in my favor. Um, I also used an acrylic silver to fill in the damaged areas, which are recessed and actually damaged. I just used my Dremel tool to do the damage and try to make it look as legit as possible. Same I did on the shoulder pads of the suit, which again, you can look at some of these pictures as I'm talking, and you'll be able to see some of the close-up detail work that I did, which was all kinds of fun to do. On top of that, um, I used, this is just the box, but I used oil-based paints for the dirtying of the suit. So when you look at the up close pictures and video, you can see all the, like, it looks like dirt and grime. Um, I actually got that idea from Chris Stanley, so thank you, Chris. He had actually done that on a Batman suit, so I'll link his video below. You can always see what he did, but basically he just used a very, very little tiny amount and then kind of spread that and dry brushed it across the suit in areas that he wanted to highlight a bit more. And that's what I did here. I'm not going to show me doing that because, like I said, you can check out his video if you want to see that specifically. Um, for the blood and the reds in the battle damage of the suit, basically I just mixed a variation of acrylic paints and watered them down and then use them to stain the suit or give that, in-depth blood damage. And that being said, for the actual damage on the suit, all I really did was use a wood burner. I used a wood burning tool and I just kind of experimented in a couple spots on the back first before I did the front and sides. That way I didn't go too crazy off the bat and then it just looked awful. So again, that was kind of a happy accident, something I've been wanting to try on other suits in the past for a long time. Um, and it just worked beautifully. This particular vest is multiple layers of pleather and different types of pleather, and having those layers in depth really worked well in the areas that I had the bullet damage, so which was truly fantastic. The files for the gauntlets, I used Do 3D or Duo 3D for the gauntlets. The shoulders, I use Big Fred Customs files. And for the cowl, I used Vec 3Ds. That's their version 1. And then for the balaclava, it's a um, Liverpool bullet fabric 4-way stretch that I cut into more of like a bib rather than going fully under the arms. I cut it into a bib and I did a little bit of, you can't really see it, but I did a little bit of weathering in the neck area just so that the suit and mask became more cohesive. And I also used, and you can't really tell, but I also used the matte black spray on this to again match the rest of the suit perfectly, because this had more of a sheen on it. So I wanted to dull that sheen down a bit to give it, again, more cohesive look. The belt is what came with it. Excuse me. And it, again, same paints, exact same paints I used on it. The acrylic marker. Again, I'll have pictures popping up as I'm talking. The gloves, which are quite snug actually for the suit, but I did my hand toppers, my magnetic hand toppers that go with my claw ports, and I did the same paint and weathering on those as well. Uh, for the eyes of the suit, or excuse me, of the mask, I actually just used Daredevil lenses from my Do 3D Daredevil files. Resin printed those in clear or yeah, translucent red resin, and then I gave them a quick clear coat. I think I rushed it a bit. They're not the easiest to see out of, but you can still see out of them. I've used the same lenses in the Daredevil mask before and other masks in the past, and they work great. So I probably should have slowed down and take a little bit more time on that. I'm just trying to think. It really wasn't a lot other than just time. It was very helpful having it on a mannequin as I did the work. The knees, again, I just used the same paint and used a Dremel to do the damage. Um, but yeah, that's about it really. Like it's not really that in depth. It's just those materials and the time and having the I guess the reference image to do this was a very very big help. I didn't copy it to a T, but having that as a great reference was awesome, and well, that's what got me from A to B. And so if you want to do like an X Force suit on a reasonable budget, I recommend it, especially if you can get your hands on this, a variation of the suit on a budget. This one that's behind me specifically, I wouldn't recommend using like a wood burner tool to do the damage, just because of the type of material that it's made out of. But this one here that I got from Chaoren Cosplay, which I'll have the link to specifically which suit I used, yeah, I'd recommend going ham on it, because if you got a suit from like white sheep leather, for example, you know, you might be spending maybe spending $300 to $400 for a custom tailored um, gray and black suit, which you know you're still going to probably have to modify. You're going to have to put new shoulder pads on it anyway. The belt's usually not the greatest. Um, you could end up spending more. Whereas if you can get, one of these on a great deal, you might be up money to just do it yourself, especially if you want to do the upgrades and make everything more cohesive looking. Um, so it is an option. And feel free to ask questions. Feel free if there's something very, very specific that you're curious about. And like I said, I'm pretty sure I'm covering everything. It's really not a lot other than time and patience. And there was a lot of happy accidents in this project. But like I said, at the end of the day, didn't actually end up needing a whole lot other than time and a vision. So yeah, it was a very, very fun project. It was a very fun learning experience. And there's a lot that I'm going to take from it. And just like this suit, I'm going to take and apply to other future builds. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more, as I will have some Wolverine giveaways in the very near future. Anyway, take care, and don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe.